pain is so powerful, that pain is such a powerful emotion, such a powerful tool that we can use to really get to the highest level if we are conscious about it. That's why today I want to dive deeper. I want to dive deeper into what pain really is, what different pillars of pain are out there, how we can really use, what tools do I use to transform pain, what methods do I use to transform this inner uncomfortable and heavy emotion of pain. So I'm Kossi, King Conscious, Inaku. Bless you for tuning in. I promise you, at the end of this video, you will experience wisdom and knowledge that will give you the power and the motivation to really work on yourself and get to the highest level. I'm not telling you that it is easy. These are very simple methods, but they are hard to execute, you know? Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. Not everyone is gonna do it. Not everyone is gonna apply this knowledge and wisdom that I'm giving you. But I promise if you stick to the end and work on yourself, you will be able to transform pain, you will be able to handle pain, you will be able to make the most out of painful situations and work yourself up to get to the highest level, to the highest version of yourself. So for those who watch Star Wars, you probably know Yoda. And Yoda once said, with great power comes great responsibility. And I'm always thinking like, yeah, he's right. Like with great power comes great responsibility. But what is real responsibility? And if you look into the word, if you like take the word apart, you will see that it is a responsibility. You probably heard that often, to be able to respond. But to be able to respond to what? Because the responsibility is like to be able to respond to every situation that occurs, to every situation that comes with you. Not only the highest levels, not only the easiest situations in life, but also the darkest, densest, and lowest. Therefore, if you have this power, that means you paid the price and went through a pain that gave you this responsibility, that gave you this ability to respond to whatever comes, because you will be stronger than every challenge, you will be stronger than every situation, and you will be able to handle it. So with great power, or rather, great power is only accessible if you went through great pain. And the first question is, what is pain? I'm always thinking like, what is pain? And I just thought that pain is like the crossing of a threshold that is within us, that is programmed within us. And this crossing causes an uncomfortable situation within us that we try to avoid. It makes so much sense, you know, to avoid pain and to avoid this uncomfortable feeling, because if pain gets too heavy, eventually you die. You know, if pain gets too heavy, eventually you just die. And what next? Like we all, or not we all, but many people out there are afraid of death because of the unknown, because they don't know what happens after, and because it just comes with this pain, you know. The purpose of our life is to be alive. Therefore, you can call it God, the universe, whoever, whatever, gave us this tool to sense that, yo, this is too painful. I would rather not go there. I'd rather not do this, because otherwise I will die. I have to stay here. I have to be alive. It is the program within us to stay alive. That's why we have this threshold of realizing, okay, this is the border. If I cross this, I feel pain. If I touch myself right now, it doesn't hurt, you know, but if I punch myself, I feel the sensation, and the sensation is a signal of my mindset, it's a signal of my brain that is telling me like, yo, if you do this more often, you will hurt yourself. If you do this more often, you will break something, and eventually you will just die. So pain is like this threshold, you know, that is here to protect us. But too often, pain does not only protect us, it also blocks us from our blessings. It blocks us from this reward that can happen if we manage to handle this pain. That's why I always distinguish between conscious pain and unconscious pain. Because if you, for example, go into the gym, you know, doing some push-ups, doing some pull-ups, doing some muscle-ups, lifting weights, whatever, you're inflicting some kind of pain onto you with consciousness because you want to become stronger, you want to grow, you know, you want to become better at physical exercise, you want to be healthier. So that is a kind of conscious pain that you are inflicting onto yourself and using it to become stronger and using it to charge yourself up. But unconscious pain is the exact opposite. It drains you out of energy. It keeps you at the low level. It keeps you at the bottom. So conscious pain and unconscious pain is the difference between using the pain that is just a neutral energy and either making the most out of it, or you being controlled by the pain and it destroys you. It keeps you at a low level. It drains you out of energy. You're shouting outside. I talked about it in the last episode. You're in the car, for example. Someone steals your parking spot. You're full of rage. You're screaming and doing whatever. You're being fully controlled by this emotional density within you because you're not able to control this side of you, you know? So therefore, I always thought about what different kind of pains are out there. And I realized like there are 4 pillars of pain. So let me start with the first pillar, the emotional pain. The emotional pain is a pain that is not easy to distinguish, you know, because sometimes to be able to realize that we have emotional pain, we have to be very honest to ourselves. And that's a tool that I always used for myself, because no matter who I'm talking to, when I'm talking to myself, I'm always honest to myself. Therefore, for example, back then, I was really bad with women, like Kanye said on Runaway. So every time I met a girl, I always fell in love easily. I fell in love with the imagination in my head of her being beautiful, me and her walking around, kissing, whatever, you know. So I always fell in love with this imagination within my head. And every time this imagination or this expectation and the reality did not resonate, I broke apart. I had to deal with a lot of heartbreaks that I inflicted on myself, you know, because I was in love with an imagination, not with the reality, not with the truth, not with the person for who she really is. I was in love with whatever my mind was imagining. So these heartbreaks, they happened so often that I came to this point where I was dating a girl, or rather I was not even dating her. That's the funny thing. My mind was dating her. We exchanged numbers, and there was like, I think I met her once at a party, we exchanged numbers, and then I met her twice, and my mind was already imagining stuff. So in my mind, I was already kind of in love, you know? And when I found out that she was really dating someone else, my ego turned in, boom. I was devastated for a couple of days because of something that didn't even happen. It was only in my mind. And this emotional pain that I felt within, I was honest about it and looked within myself to realize like, yo, why is this bothering me so much? Why is this person that I never really even knew causing so much emotional pain within me? And that was the time that I realized that I have such a strong ego in terms of falling in love with imagination and in terms of just not seeing people for who they are, you know? So this heartbreak that I felt, it was so impactful and so dense that it woke me up. It literally woke me up to realize like, yo, you cannot always fall in love with people that you don't even know, you know? They cannot always fall in love with an imagination. And this kind of resentment that I had towards her, these dense emotions that I had towards myself, because I was the one who fooled myself. I was not being fooled. I was the one who fooled myself because I was not honest to her in terms of communicating and realizing like, yo, what is going on? I was only talking in my head and imagining stuff, you know? So when I had this heartbreak, it was, I think 3 years ago, that really woke me up, and it released a lot of resentment, a lot of just dense emotions within me, that I was able to attract the love of my life, because I let go of all the resentment that I had towards the women, because I was imagining stuff in my mind, you know? If you do not see the reality for what it is, or rather, if you do not see the truth for what it is, you will be stuck in your reality that is playing in your mind, and it can be whatever your mind is imagining, you know? So emotional pain is really connected to honesty, because we have to be truly honest to ourselves to be able to analyze our emotional pain, where it's coming from. But if we are not honest to ourselves, we will always blame the others. We will always blame the outside world for what is happening within us, instead of taking the responsibility, taking the accountability, and master ourselves and study ourselves. That is one pillar of pain, and all pillars are interconnected. It's not that one pillar is on its own, you know, because emotional pain can turn into, let's say, the next pillar is physical pain. Physical pain is probably one of the most obvious pillars of pain, you know. When I go to the gym, I'm exercising, I'm feeling this pain within my muscle. But our muscles are slick. Our mind, our body is slick. Our muscles is like, yo, next time I'm going to the gym, I don't want to feel this pain. I want to be stronger. Let's grow. Let's keep pushing. So that's how you see how you can transform physical pain and become stronger. But if you keep it pushing a little bit too far, boom, you're injured. The pain became unconscious and controlled you. It drained you out of energy. You broke your arm, or had a shoulder injury or whatever because you pushed a little bit too far. So physical pain is the most obvious, but it also has a lot of impact for our health, because when we are sick, often we are misunderstanding the situation, because sickness is not something that is bad for us. Sickness is, or rather, let's say, the sickness within our body is just a sign that our body is healing. I talked about it while recording the episode about fasting. When your body is healing, it is getting rid of all the toxins within your body, you know? So for example, if you are coughing, if you are sneezing, a lot of mucus is coming out, a lot of bullshit is coming out of your system. So the physical pain of being sick can be transformed if you're being conscious about it. If you know, like, okay, my body's resting right now, my body's releasing, I'm giving it the space, I'm giving it the tools, the environment to do that. But if you are suppressing the pain, if you're suppressing the illness with some medication, with not giving yourself proper rest, but still going to work even though you're sick, or still going to the gym even though you're sick, you are not utilizing and making the most out of the pain. So physical pain is the second pillar. The third pillar is mental pain. I used to be a slave of mental pain, man. I used to be a slave to stress, to anxiety, to just being like fully controlled by my mind. Like I told you, I was imagining stuff with women, or in general, I was not seeing the truth for what it is. I was living in my mind, in my head. And I know that in this mental realm in which we live in right now, in this masculine world, a lot of people are stuck completely in their head. They're not honest about themselves. They're not honest about themselves, about their emotions. They're just analyzing everything out there. But you have to be in a balance between analyzing and also feeling, between the mind and the heart. So mental pain, me for example, when I'm stressing all the time because I want to do stuff, I'm stressing about time, I'm stressing about not accomplishing my goals fast enough. Stress. This mental stress, I'm trying to find a solution. We all know that state where we are stuck in a place and try to get out of it. We try to leave the moment and escape into whatever, you know? Escape into the future. Or we are stuck in the past because we regret something. We are always trying to find a solution for a problem that is already gone, instead of accepting it, instead of forgiving that situation, forgiving that version of ourselves, learning whatever happened in that situation. Me, for example, like I told you, when I realized like, yo, the resentment that I'm always having towards the women that I'm dating or the women that I'm falling in love, it is the resentment towards me. It is not a resentment towards them, because I am not able to communicate. I'm always imagining stuff, and then when the expectation doesn't resonate with the reality, I told you, that's when the crash happens. So the mental pain is a strong aspect of pain that we are able to handle when I come to the tools how to master the pains. And then there's spiritual pain. Me, myself, the most spiritual pain that I experienced in this lifetime is probably my open heart surgery that I talked about in an episode before. I will also make an episode about it one day. That transformed my whole essence. It transformed my whole being. It gave me such a purpose in life to stay healthy, to take care of myself, to be healthy, to not drink alcohol, to not indulge myself in whatever that harms my being, my heart, my system, you know, because the heart is like the center of yours. And if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not walking around with an open heart, you're closing your heart, you are densening your heart. So this happy experience of mine, going through this whole process of realizing or visiting the doctor, he telling me like, I was 21 years old, you know, I was 21 years old. He was telling me like, yo, you have to get the heart surgery, your heart is way too big, you're losing the effectiveness of your heart. And being in this situation where I was like, yo, why is this happening to me? I'm 21 years old, I never smoked too much cigarettes, I never drank too much alcohol, whatever. Like I was living a moderate lifestyle, of course. For me, that I know now, I wasn't that healthy that I am right now, but I wasn't like overindulging, you know. I was not smoking 15 packages of cigarettes every single day or whatever. So I was getting into this victim mindset and questioning myself. And I was like, yo, why me? But in hindsight, when I look back into the situation, it was kind of a blessing because I transformed it, you know? I transformed this spiritual pain of going through so much emotional, physical, and mental pain all at once. That's why I'm saying like these pains are all interconnected. It's not that emotional pain stands for its own, or physical pain or mental pain. Like they all have an effect on each other and they all influence each other, you know? So spiritual pain is like one of those pains where you are facing such a deep, deep crisis within your existence. You don't know what you're gonna do in terms of a job or whatever. Like when I lost my job this year, I was going through some spiritual pain again because I was mentally stressed, I was physically stressed, I was trying to find a solution. I was like, yo, am I able gonna get some money? I was in a survival state, you know, and when you're in a survival state, you're just in this lowest state that is possible. So the spiritual pain aspect of our life can be very transformative if we are able to manage that pain and make something out of it, because then we can get to the highest blessings. Because then I worked on myself a lot. I worked on my mindset, on my money mindset, my poverty mindset, my visions, whatever I want to accomplish. If I'm stuck at a job that I don't like and I'm afraid of this pain to leave the job, I will never be able to start a business, start a YouTube career, start whatever it is that I want to accomplish in life, you know? If I'm afraid of talking to women, how can I find my other whole? How can I find the one that is outside there for me? If I'm too afraid of the pain of crossing that border, you know? So these 4 pillars, they are all interconnected: mental pain, spiritual pain, physical pain, and emotional pain. And every one of those pillars can turn into one ego. The ego, like I told you, is like a protective mechanism from our being that is out there protecting us. Because when you, for example, just look at the ego of eating, most people will never fast in their life. Like I told you, I'm fasting right now. I'm doing my grape fast for 3 weeks. I'm at day 13 from 21. And I have to overcome this ego of wanting to eat, you know, because food is necessary for us. We have to eat to be alive. That's what they told us. But at some point, you have to give yourself a break from eating to stay alive. So it's very contradictory, because if your mind is programmed to eat all the time, probably you will get to that point where you eat more than you should. You're addicted to eating. You're addicted to the comfort. You are not able to say no. You become afraid and more afraid and more afraid of the pain of saying no, of being hungry and dying of hunger. That's like the worst case. But therefore, the ego is protecting you from something that is not even real, or rather that it's not even true. It is real to you. But if you are managing to deprive yourself of this urge to fulfill this material need, you will be able to ascend higher. Your essence will get higher. That's why this fast that I'm doing right now, it is bringing me into states that I wasn't even aware that they exist. That's why I did a reel these other days that not eating in this society is a privilege, because the way I'm feeling right now, the way that I'm experiencing this physical body in myself, it is something not many people on this planet will experience. But therefore I had to be able to go through this pain of saying no to so many things, to so many temptations out there of food. I live in Berlin, man. I go outside, there are restaurants and Spätis and whatever everywhere. They're everywhere. So every time I have to say no, no, no. I have to reprogram myself. I have to reprogram my ego. So the ego that is there to protect us, it takes over us, and we are being controlled by the ego. We are not using this ego anymore. We are not consciously using these protective mechanisms that should keep us from unconsciously dying, but give us the tool to consciously die, which is just a transformation of energy into a higher purpose. Like the leaves that are falling from the tree, they're going into the soil. The soil takes that energy, gives it back into the tree, and the tree grows again. So it's a cycle. Nothing ever really dies. Everything just transforms. And that's why in the beginning, or just in general, I know that the top floor, the highest level, what is possible out there for us, it is for everyone. But not everyone will reach that point, because not everyone will do their work. Not everyone is willing to let go of their ego and get into the higher self, to control the ego and know that, yo, this is the time where I have to set boundaries. I'm not letting anyone be disrespectful towards me. I'm not letting anyone to hurt me physically. I will always protect myself. You know, that's where we have to tap into our ego and utilize this protective energy. But to distinguish the situations of, am I being controlled right now, or am I in control, is really the challenge and mastery of yourself. So the tools that I will give you now, they will help you to master these 4 pillars of pain, to master mental pain, to master physical pain, emotional, spiritual pain. They will help you in general in life, no matter which situation you are going through. So many people out there are so stressed, they live in a stressed state. I work in a restaurant, and a restaurant is a very hectic place, a very stressful place, because you have to deliver food on time. It has to look a certain way. Everyone is fully stressed. Nobody's in control of their emotions. Nobody's able to regulate their emotions. And you are wondering, how can I regulate my emotions? How can I regulate myself? How can I be in control of emotional pain? So the most obvious tool for emotional pain is just crying. Because I know for a fact that so many men out there hardly cries. When you are watching this video right now, think about, when was the last time you cried? When was the last time you really released emotions from yourself while consciously crying? Most people only cry when someone dies, something really heavy happens, then they're not able to control that emotion anymore. So they have to let go of it somehow, That's why I'm telling you, most often people only are able to be controlled by their emotions, to be unconscious about it. But when was the last time, or has there ever been a time where you consciously cried, where you sat down and was like, yo, I have to regulate myself, I have to let go of that emotions, I go within me, I feel this emotion and I cry. That's what I do. I do that often whenever I feel like something popping up, a trauma popping up, an uncomfortable emotion from, I don't know, back then, something happens during the day. There was this time, for example, where Lizzie had a car accident and nothing serious happened. And after the day, when she was asleep, I was sitting here, I was reflecting on the whole situation, because the whole day was very just dense in emotions, because if your partner has a car accident and something happens, you'd be like, yo, you'd be fully aroused within this, So when I was just calming myself down and reflecting on the situation, I was getting deeper and deeper into my emotions, and I was feeling myself, and I was just realizing what happened. And I felt this emotional density within me that I had to let go, and I breathed properly and started crying, but not out of a lower, not in a lower sense. I was crying out of gratitude. I was so grateful that nothing serious happened, So I transformed this dense emotion that I had within me of something bad could happen, some regret or whatever. I transformed it into gratitude and let go of this dense emotion within me. So conscious crying is the most powerful tool that we can use to let go of these emotions. But therefore I told you, in order to be able to cry, in order to be able to handle emotional pain, you have to start to be honest to yourself. You have to start to be honest about your actions, about how you feel, why you are feeling neglected, why you are feeling abandoned, just dense emotions within you in your daily situations. Because if you are not being honest to yourself, you will never be able to even let that emotion flow through you, because you will always suppress them. You will always suppress your emotions. So the tool that I use to get to that point of emotional crying, if I'm not able to do that immediately, is breath work. There are so many different breath works, exercises out there that we can use. But the one that I use if I want to let go of emotions is, first of all, proper breathing. Proper breathing, you breathe through your nose, into your stomach through a diaphragm. So your stomach has to come out a little bit, not into your chest. You have to breathe deep into yourself. And it is a practice to get to the point where you can all the time breathe consciously and give yourself, give your cells and your system proper oxygen, proper energy. It is a practice. You have to practice that daily. Waking up, do some breath work. Before going to sleep, do some breath work. During the day, do some breath work. So you have to breathe through your nose for a couple of seconds. Hold it just 1-2 seconds and then breathe out again. Always breathe into your stomach, breathe into your diaphragm. Your stomach has to come out a bit, So that's how you proper breathe. Because too many people out there are mouth breathers. They breathe through their mouth. They're losing lots of energy. The air is not filtered through the nose hairs. The air is not filtered through the nose. Our nose is there to breathe and our mouth is here to eat. You would never eat through your nose. So why are you breathing through your mouth? So if you are learning the way of conscious breathing, if you are learning the way of healthy breathing, through your nose into your diaphragm for a couple of seconds, then out again, that's how you can also start to regulate yourself on a daily basis. And then what I use, if I feel the urge or feel the need to really release I breathe in for as long as I can, and then I hold. I close my eyes and hold, and I just observe myself from within. I observe where I'm feeling stressed. I observe where I'm just feeling like dense, where I'm holding onto myself, and I try to let loose. I try to like really focus on becoming easy on myself and let everything flow within me, because too often we are contracting our muscles because we are so stressed, you know. Subconsciously, we are subtracting our stomach, our neck, our shoulders. We are just compromising, you know. We are becoming denser and denser, but we have to be lighter. We have to be easy. We have to be chill. So if you are breathing in for as long as you can through your diaphragm, through your stomach, and then hold it, close your eyes and just observe yourself. Observe how you're feeling. Observe where you are holding onto something, maybe in your hips area or in your stomach area or your shoulders. Like you will let loose and you will realize like, yo, why am I so stressed? Why am I not chilling? And then you let go of that air for as long as you can. And after you let go, you hold it a bit again. You hold, observe yourself, and then you redo it again. You breathe in for as long as you can. You breathe in, fill your whole body with energy. Pull the air up. After breathing into your stomach, pull the air up into your lungs and hold it. Observe yourself, let it out again. Do that cycle again and again and again. I promise you, you will release the heaviness within your system. You will become easier. And if you do that for a couple of rounds and you have the urge to cry, you will suddenly you will realize like, yo, there's this urge of me that I have to let go. That's the breathing technique that I use if I want to just release emotions. Other tools for emotional release can be, of course, exercising, just a form of self-love, you know, doing something for yourself that you really love, that you really like. If you are feeling sad, for example, or you are feeling just exhausted or whatever, like doing something not that hurts you, but that gives you like fuel, that charge you up. You know, for me, I just know that sometimes I just need myself to walk through nature, give myself just some time to not think about stuff, to just to receive energy within the nature, to hear some bird sounds, to smell like this fresh air, breathe proper air, not this crack-ass air that is outside here in the streets, you know. So there are many different tools out there for emotional release, but these tools like breath work and crying are the most powerful for me. I would like to know what is the most powerful tool for you to use. Then mental pain. How can we utilize mental pain? If we are able to observe our mind, we are already one step ahead. Because the most people, they cannot distinguish their spirit from their mind. They think they are their mind. They think that whatever their mind is thinking is true, but your mind is just programmed. We are like supercomputers. Your mind is just programmed to operate in whichever way it was programmed to, you know? For example, like I told you, my mind was programmed to just always fall in love with an imagination, to always fall in love with something that didn't even happen, but it was just so comfortable to fall in love with this person in my mind, to fall in love with this idea of this job that is so perfect that it will fulfill my dreams or whatever. But then the reality comes and it's more challenging and the expectation doesn't resonate anymore with the reality, and I'm facing the truth. My mind is like, yo, what is happening here? So a powerful tool to observe the mind is, of course, breath work. Breath work is a tool that will help you in every situation. You just have to know like the different kind of methods to use. You can also just experiment for yourself, you know. So breath work for mental exercise that I use often is box breathing. It's almost the same as I told you about emotional breathing. I talked about it in the video before, in the fasting video. It is like you breathe for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, breathe out for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds. So it's always like this conscious breathing through your nose into your diaphragm, into your stomach, hold it a little bit, then let it out, and then do that for a couple of rounds, for 10 minutes, for 15 minutes. It will give you like clarity and you will be able to distinguish yourself from your mind. You will be able to observe your mind more fully. You will be able to be like, okay, mind is telling me that I should hate everyone outside now. I should have this resentment energy towards everyone, or that I shouldn't give a fuck anymore about anyone because they fucked with me or whatever. Like, but is that really the highest level? Is that really the highest potential that I could reach? Wouldn't it be better like to talk to my partner about how I'm feeling and the way I felt when she treated me this kind of way? For example, too often in our situation with me and Lizzie, like I had to learn to communicate my emotions. I had to learn like to approach her with whatever she's saying that it might hurt me. I'm still learning, you know, I'm still learning. I'm not a complete master of everything, but it is just these tools, the simplicity in these tools that I know that I have to just reprogram into my subconscious. So when we are able to observe our mind and not believe everything our mind is telling us, we are already one step closer to mastering ourselves, because our mind will just tell us what it is programmed to tell us. What the ego is programmed to, it will tell us. If I hate everyone outside, or if you are one of those people who have resentment towards every woman, for example, just because one woman cheated on you or whatever, you have a pain within yourself that you just haven't approached with full consciousness. You're not able to take the responsibility and accountability for your actions. Because like I told you, I could have chosen the path of hating all the women. I could have chosen the path of having resentment towards all the women, but I just chose that, they are not the problem. It's always me. It is about how I handle the situations. It is about how I'm able to make my truth be there and express my truth. So meditation with breathwork is the most powerful tool to handle your mental energy. Also, what I use sometimes is journaling. If you are having such a load within your mind and you're not able to kind of get rid of it or to observe it, just write it down. Sometimes I write 20 pages of my mind because my mind is so full of stuff. I just write, and then I feel released. And the next day I read through it. You will be able to observe that with more consciousness. You will be able to stop projecting what is within here onto the world and really like see, okay, this is what are my things. What? Like you can write the most densest, heaviest, whatever you are thinking, write it on a paper, give yourself some time, read it again with an open heart, and it will help you to become clearer. It will help you to gain power over this mental pain. So there we come to the tools for physical pain. Physical pain is, like I told you, a very obvious pain, but it can be very challenging to handle that because it is so uncomfortable sometimes. To go to the gym and exercise and you are at the threshold of push-ups or whatever, but you have to keep it pushing, or you're doing a plank for, let's say, 2 minutes. Like there was this time where suddenly one day I just woke up and I was like, today I want to do a plank for 3.5 minutes. I want to see like if I'm able to do that. I want to see that if I'm able to just endure that kind of pain. And as I'm doing this plank, 30 seconds went by. I'm like, this is already really exhausting. I still have 3 minutes to go. Crazy. But I was just observing my mind, and I was observing my body, and I was just trying to figure out like, what am I able to do? There's this guy, I think his name is David Goggins or anything. He's like, I think he's really the master of pain, of physical pain, because like, I don't know a lot about him, but as far as I know, he really mastered like to be in fully control over his physical body and do like things that we will never be able to handle. Also Wim Hof, for example, he's also a master of breath. And with the breath, he handles situations. He's like jogging on the Mount Everest within his shorts and stuff. Like, that just shows that when you are using the right tools, there's nothing that you can't do. You just have to know the information and the tool and apply it and get to that point. So when I did that plank, 1 minute went by and I was like, Kossi, you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Just keep it pushing. Just keep it pushing. I was affirming myself and talking to myself all the time instead of getting into this victim or be like, I cannot do this. This is too heavy. I have to give up. I was pushing myself, pushing. And I was shivering already, I was like really at this point where my body wanted to give up, but my soul, my spirit was stronger than my mind, because my mind was like easily just give up. But I was just observing this emotion, this feeling of pain, of physical pain. And eventually, boom, the alarm clock rang and 3.5 minutes passed by. And I was like, wow, I can really do this. Like, what else can I do? These are just the situations where when you are able to get to that point where you never thought that you were able to do it, some things happen outside. We cannot control everything, There will be things that happen to you, and you may either get into the victim mode and be like, why is this happening to me, like I told you with my heart surgery, or you just accept the situation and make the most out of it. So every time you are being challenged by the universe, by your higher self, by yourself, and you are facing this challenge and mastering the challenge, or even just don't give up and make the most out of it, because even if I have given up at 2.5 minutes, I would still have achieved more than I would thought I would be able to, So next time I will try to push harder. So when you go to the gym, just try to have a goal where you want to be. Push yourself as high as you can. Give yourself reward, give yourself appreciation for what you accomplished, and then try to do better next time, and better, just one step after the other. So observing your mind and meditation, like I told you, observing the pain, not judging it as something negative or positive, but just for something as it is, can help you to master yourself physically. Breath as well. For example, there's this breath work method, the fire breath, that will give you energy like crazy. It is like a drug. So what you do is you breathe very hectically, but in a conscious way. So you breathe into your stomach, but very fast. I will demonstrate that right now. So it is like, so every time you are breathing in, you're pushing out your stomach. And when you're pushing out your stomach, automatically you will contract the stomach while breathing out. So when you do that very fast, you are kind of putting so much oxygen within your body, and you will feel so energized when you do that for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes. Let's say, for example, you're really in a situation where you need some energy, you're really tired. I did that a lot when I worked at the bar, There were times where it was 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was really tired. I was like, I still have to push 2 hours, 3 hours. So I did a short break, did some breath work for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes, and I was feeling energized as fuck. So this method can give you like a physical push that you may need in situations where you really have to keep it pushing. To do some fire breath, do it for 1 minute, for 2 minutes, for 30 seconds, whatever. You will feel that you will become more alive. You will kind of waken up, So these are the tools that give you the ability to handle physical pain. But of course, you have to eat healthy, you have to be healthy, you have to exercise. Frequently fasting, that will also keep your body in a physical healthy state. Therefore, you will be able to handle physical pain in a more proper way. So the last pain is the spiritual pain. And the tools for that, to handle that, the connection with God, the connection with the divine, the connection with your highest self. Because if you are not connected with the highest self of yourself, you will not be able to handle these spiritual challenges, because you will always be controlled by lack. You will always be controlled by fear. You will always be so-called controlled by the devil or whatever, But if you truly have faith, if you have truly belief within yourself, you will be able to handle, like I told you, every situation that is out there. You will be able to make the most out of every situation, no matter which life crisis it is, no matter who dies, no matter which surgery you have to go through. Like, there are so many different traumatic events out there, but you can always turn trauma into power. You can always turn trauma into your highest potential. Therefore, every dense situation out there, like I told you about my heart surgery, or the traumatic events with the heartbreaks, whatever, like, we all are different. Therefore, every situation can be a trauma for everyone in a different way. But there's definitely no person on this earth that is not traumatized. So if we are able to use this traumatic energy, if we are able to connect to the divine, to the highest version of yourself, you will be able to master the spiritual pain. You will be able to master no matter which job you're losing, no matter if you lose your apartment or whatever, like you are trying to find something. Like, the spiritual pain is really something that is connected with the survival state. Because when we are in a survival state, we are so at the lowest frequency that is possible for us. So we are completely lost from the highest version, because we are the complete distance from being the highest version. So the survival state is really like the spiritual pain, but it is the one that transforms us the most, because it is the heaviest pain that we can endure. It's the heaviest pain that we can experience in life. And that's why I told you the story in the beginning. Son Goku facing the death of his friend, Naruto facing the death of his team member, Gon facing the death of his mentor. Like, these are such heavy pains that only a few of us can handle, but those who handle it and those who transform it, they will get to the highest levels out there, and they are the ones who I'm talking to, because I know that not everyone, like I told you, not everyone will watch this video and be like, yo, let's face some pain out there. Let's go get it. Let's keep it pushing. Because once the pain is there, automatically your ego comes in, and then it's the challenge. Am I able to handle my ego? Am I able to get control over my ego? Am I able to really accept this situation and forgive? Forgiving is one of the most powerful tools that we can use. And a lot of people still carry so much anger, carry so much resentment, carry so much shame, disappointment, just these dense emotions within us that we are not able to let go of. So if you are able to forgive yourself emotionally while crying, mentally while accepting the situation, physically becoming stronger, learning out of it, you will be able to handle the spiritual pain. The spiritual pain is the most densest and most heaviest pain that we can experience. But the ones who are courageous enough to face that pain, they will really become the strongest and master themselves. So use breath work, use the connection to the divine, go into nature, journal, meditate, pray, believe in yourself, trust in yourself, trust in the higher purpose. Always focus on the positive side of the duality. There will be always two sides of the duality, but focus always on the highest version. And then you will manifest, then you will transform any pain, the emotional pain, the physical pain, the mental pain, and the spiritual pain. So the goal is really to master yourself and get to the highest level on every level, financially, physically, mentally, in relationships with your partner, in life in general, with your discipline. But it takes time, it takes practice. The universe will give you the challenges. I know that every single one out there get their challenges. We get our challenges. We either get into the victim mode or be like, okay, what is the universe trying to tell me today? What is my higher self trying to teach me today? What am I able to learn today? There were so many times where I was nervous to record a video. I was nervous to speak in front of the camera. I was nervous to speak in front of anyone. But eventually, the many times that I did record the video, that I did record something, that I just do it, I learned something every single time. I became better and better and better. I'm still not there where I want to be, but even today was a day like, well, should I record the video? I don't feel so good. I don't feel that I'm not in my highest version, I'm not in my highest level, but I still was like, let's do it. Let's get it. Let's just try it and experience it and face the pain of maybe recording a bad video or whatever, like just this pain of being perceived by someone else in a way that is judging. If you face that, you will grow. You will just grow in yourself. And that is the goal, to just experience in life and grow, because infinity is the goal. There will never be times where we don't have to handle challenges. There will never be times where we don't have to handle pain. There will always be pain, no matter where you are, where you live, what you do. But it's always the challenge how you will handle the situations. Will you handle the stressful situations where it's about time, about money? Will you do the breath work? Give yourself a second, try to figure the solution out instead of just thinking, receiving from the divine. It is always up to you how you will handle the situation, but it will never be easy. You will just get stronger and stronger and stronger. So we talked about a lot today. We talked about what pain really is, what different pillars of pain are out there, what tools we can use. I'm also very courageous and excited to know which tools do you use to handle these different pains, to make the most out of it, because there are many tools that I still don't know, that I can still implement into my routine of handling pain. But I know that for every pain out there, there's definitely a tool that we can use to make the most out of it. So I also want to give you some recommendations about books that I read. For example, from Patrick McKeown. I'll probably put them in the biography. Patrick McKeown, The Breathing Cure, James Nestor, Breath, the Wim Hof Method, also The Myth of Normal from Gabor Mate. It is about trauma, healing the traumas, identifying the trauma. Power of Now from Eckhart Tolle, and also New Earth is about the pain body and being in the moment. So it is really about learning from different mentors out there and applying the knowledge, because it is a process to master yourself. It is a process and a journey and a game. And as long as we are playing and never giving up, we'll become better and better and enjoy this game. Not be addicted to pain like some people are out there, but to master ourselves in order to fulfill our true purpose of living here in this life and our highest potential. For those who are willing to do that, for those who are willing to face the pain, they will be rewarded. They will be rewarded with the highest blessings out there. But it takes courage, it takes effort, it takes time, it takes energy, blood, sweat, and tears. But I know that there are many people out there who are willing to do it. There are many people out there who are courageous and interested enough to get to the highest level. So believe in yourself, believe in your highest version, man. Believe in the divine, trust in your process, keep it pushing every single day. We are all keeping it pushing. There are many things happening out there in the world, many different pains out there, many different traumas, then stuff happening, but there's also beautiful stuff happening. Many people out there helping each other, many people out there supporting each other. The whole state, the whole world is elevating, transforming, waking up. So it is up to every single one of us to do our work within ourselves, and therefore we bring the whole collective planet to a higher place. So I'm very grateful for you to tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I hope you enjoyed the message. I hope you could take something out of it. And I trust that those who are meant to really get the message will be able to execute and transform the pain now with a different approach. They will be able to observe themselves with a different mindset. Pain in general, trauma, hardships, challenges out there with a different mindset to just elevate. So leave a comment of appreciation. Leave a comment about the tools you use. What can I learn? What you want to listen to from me? What should I share in the next video? Give a 5-star rate. Just show love and appreciation. Let me know if there's just anything that you want me to talk about. And I appreciate it. I thank you very much for tuning in. I see you next time. King Conscious and Naku out. Peace.